Hey guys, my name is Bando, this is Brexit Bando. I've got a new microphone, so hopefully the audio quality is a little bit better, and I don't sound like I've got a sleep apnea machine anymore. So, the new Emperor's Children have been released, and people have got their hands on the box set, and we have been treated to the joy that is the new Emperor's Children Tormentors. And not only have we got the Tormentors, we have, or Tormentors, we have the Havocs, or Noise Marines, etc., etc. And you may have seen this image from Tale of Painters, and it shows all of the most recent Marines next to each other in scale. And you'll see that the Emperor's Children Tormentor is now taller than a Primaris Marine. And the Noise Marines, they're even bigger. As obviously Havocs are bigger than regular Chaos Space Marines. These guys are even bigger than the baseline Emperor's Children models. And I've just got to sort of talk about this really, because it is a little bit ridiculous. Primaris Marines, one of the reasons they were created, or allegedly created, is because so many people were concerned about the scale of Space Marines. They wanted true scale Space Marines, and they didn't have them. They were too small, or the sculpts are awful, etc., etc. And then the Horus Heresy comes out, and it upscales regular Space Marines again. And now we have bigger Firstborn Marines and Primaris Marines. And the Chaos Space Marines came out, and they're even bigger as well. And some of them are all over the place. And hell, some of the Horus Heresy stuff is all over the place, especially things like the character series. Some of the Praetors are, practically Terminator scale. Then the new Terminators came out, and they're even bigger. And now we have this Emperor's Children Marine that's even bigger than his fellow Chaos Space Marines. It's a bit weird. I've not heard of any lore reason that they would be bigger. I don't think there's ever been any sort of inclination that the Emperor's Children are particularly taller than any other legion. I don't think that the Slaneshi, cultists are any bigger or anything like that. But they are noticeably bigger. And this is rather strange, because you're undoing what you had changed. The idea of Primaris Marines was to make, bigger Space Marines, yes, but they were also this new, bulwark against evil. They were bigger, stronger, faster. They were Space Marines, and now we have the clocks have been reset, and suddenly Chaos Space Marines are now the scale of Primaris Marines. And this has got me thinking that possibly the idea of Primaris Space Marines will probably disappear with 11th or 12th edition. Not Primaris Space Marines in general, but the fact that we refer to them as Primaris Space Marines. So all the final Firstborn kits will be replaced. All of the names will drop the term Primaris from them, and they will just go back to being Space Marines. Which is how they should have done it the first time. But it got me kind of thinking, because does this stop? Do we end up every 10 years or so, do we have to go through a range refresh with a new scale? Eventually, will we be playing, will we move from 32mm up to a new, completely new scale? I don't think there's anything, there's 54mm for Inquisitor. I don't think there's anything between 32 and 54, so are we going to end up in 44mm or 48mm or something like that? It will be a pain, because next to the tanks, like the Rhino, these guys are massive, and it was already an issue with, like, the tactical squad Marines don't fit into the footprint of a Rhino. So how is a Chaos Rhino supposed to carry 10 Tormentors when they are solidly, like, a head taller? At this point, a Rhino is going to be the size of a Land Raider. Now, I'm all for the vehicles, getting made better, newer, and more accurate, but I think we're doing it the wrong way. We only have so much space to play, and at the scale that we want to play these games at, the 2,500 points, the 1,500 points, once you get to those sorts of sizes, even the traditional 2-8 or HQ and 2 troops, 21 guys on a 6 foot by 4 foot board. When you start getting to the 40 mils and the 54 mils, we're not going to be able to have a nice game. I mean, imagine trying to play sort of like 1,000 point game on a kill team board. Are we then going to be moving regular Space Marines onto 40 mil bases? No, we wouldn't do that. No, Games Workshop would create a 36 mil base and move them onto that, and then an addition later they'd move them onto 40 mils. About the same time they gave them 3 wounds. Chaos Marines would take 6 years before they get the 3rd wound, probably. So yeah, I'm just a little concerned that there's some inconsistency here at GW. I don't want to attribute malice where there may not be any malice. Never attribute malice where incompetence is. And I'd like to think that possibly it's incompetence. When you have 3D models, I've had it where you load a 3D print into the file and it goes, oh, this model might be too small. Do you want us to blow it up? And you go, no, and it's the regular size you want it. And you go, okay, cool. You load another one in and suddenly you've got a Mark IV head looking at you that if I printed it would be the size of a beach ball, because the guy working on it has worked at a different scale. It's a little difficult to build a consistent scale across multiple users. Maybe it's that. Maybe, because the way I would do it if I was GW is I'd have my Mark VI Marine CAD file, and you would take a copy of that and you'd load it into the software, and I'd save it as Emperor Children 1, and then I would tweak it, add detail, cut things off, add things in, etc, until I was finished, and then I would compare it back to an original copy of that Mark VI Marine and go, am I happy that's in the same scale? Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's how I do my drawing. I'll regularly sketch out the pose I want, copy the layer, hide the original, and just start playing around, and then keep bringing them back and checking. Yeah, it still fits what I want. I'd like to think it's just that. I really would. But another part of me makes me think that this is actually GW trying to drive a wedge between the Heresy and the 40k community. Because, they don't want people converting models like... who was it? Hellstorm Gaming, I think it was, did a video where he mixed regular Mark VI Heresy Marines with leftover bits from the Tormentors kit. They don't want that. And I know they're petty because they did this once before, where they inverted the Space Marine chest. So it used to be that the Space Marine chest, front and back, has peg and holes in it. And the pegs were on the front of the chest and the holes were on the back. And then they swapped it around. Or it may be the other way around. It's been a while. The kit's quite old. They changed it around. There was no reason for them to do it. No need for them to do it. But they did, so that older parts were no longer compatible with new parts. I'm still finding bits in my bits box like that, by the way. and having to trim them up and drill holes to get things to fit. I think the studio infighting is silly. I really do. And if that's how they want to judge things, is by how many miniatures are sold and that's how successful a game is, then so be it. But it's going to end in tears, because people are going to be looking at alternatives. You keep pushing the price up and people are moving away, and you will just think, oh, no one's playing this game because no one's buying it. And the reality is everyone's playing the game, but no one's supporting you anymore. They're good models. I like the models. I really do. But they are just wildly too big. I'm just going to keep repeating myself if I keep talking, guys. So I'm gonna end it there. If you've stuck all the way through, thank you very much. If you have stuck all the way through, I would like you to type the word heresy in the comments. And if you are publicly subscribed to the channel, and you're a member of the Discord, and you got a comment with just the word heresy in it, I will enter you into a giveaway for when I hit 2,500 subs, which is very soon, and I'll be sending you something. I've got lots of little models lying around. I've done 2 or 3 giveaways before, and it's time for another one. So make sure you're publicly subscribed. You can put more than one comment, just the one heresy though. I will check, and make sure you're in the Discord. If you need a link to the Discord, you can ask in a separate comment, obviously. And yeah, I'll do a draw when I hit 2,500 subs. Alright, guys. I'm sure you can also want to leave comments on how terrible I am at Darktide. Have a great day. Bye-bye.